Let's get over to our main topic. All right. And of course, that is the official theme music of our CMM debate theme that we do here. So essentially, for those of you who don't remember the rules, we are going to be debating Raiders of the Lost Ark for Nick and the Last Crusade for myself. So I will have 1 minute to present an argument. We'll both have opening statements, of course, but we'll then have 1 minute to present an argument and then 30 seconds to retort. We'll go back and forth. And then end things with a closing argument. And then if I have enough brain cells to remember this, I will even put out a poll to see, ask you, the people, who won at home, or here, ask you at home who won.
Because what's supposed to be on the line is who reads the synopsis versus who reads the cast and crew for whenever we do our reviews, our exit surveys, excuse me.
Yeah, and I've just been losing in multiple ways, just in the debates, and then just by not even putting out the poll to help myself. So
how do you even know if you're losing? You're just not giving yourself a chance.
That's true. That's true here. So we'll have 60 seconds to do all of that, and then we have some good debate questions here. But before that, let's hit the tail of the tape. Why don't you tell me about Raiders of the Lost Ark, Nick?
It all started in 1981. Raiders of the Lost Ark. The synopsis for this hit film. In 1936, archaeologist and adventurer Indiana Jones is hired by the U.S. government to find the Ark of the Covenant before Nazis can obtain its awesome power. At the box office, this hauled in $389 million worldwide, including $249 million domestic. And then it got $8 million domestic in its opening weekend on just an $18 million budget.
Wow.
Woo! And that's not adjusted for inflation. Then we got the critics' reception. This is an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 93-96 split on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3.9, this is surprising, out of 5 on Google reviews, who continue to elude us.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I thought that was very, very weird here. But nevertheless, The Last Crusade came out in 1989. This was the third installment. We're skipping over the Temple of Doom because I think most people do, although there's a pretty iconic scene of pulling a heart out of a man's chest there. But nevertheless, synopsis. In 1938, after his father goes missing while pursuing the Holy Grail, Indiana Jones finds himself up against the Nazis once again to stop them from obtaining its powers. This movie made $474 million worldwide, including $197 million domestic, $29 million on its domestic opening, on a $48 million budget. So a little bit higher budget, but still made a whole lot of profit. This made got an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb, as well as a 84-94 split on Rotten Tomatoes, with a 4.6 out of 5 on Google reviews. So very, very well received.
I'm surprised that this got... Now, again, I did not rewatch The Last Crusade. I rewatched the movie that I'm representing today. But from what I remember with Last Crusade, I was like, this... Temple of Doom, we don't need to say much more than everybody knows that these are the two best Indiana Jones movies. This is where the conversation lies. But I was kind of surprised that the critics gave this such a lower grading on Rotten Tomatoes versus what the original got. I mean, it's just because it feels too derivative. I don't know, but it's like it's still really, really good.
Yeah, you know, 84 is no slouch. You know, I think
then you haven't got a 93 though. I mean, I just don't get that.
Yeah, that probably has some, kind of breaking the mold type of thing with Raiders. Yeah, I hear you.
If you give something a 93 and I give it an 84 when we're doing our reviews, we're not in the same neighborhood. We're not even in the same town. So it's, to me, that's like, whoa.
Different tax brackets, that's for sure.
Ooh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, well, you're living the upscale life. I'm slumming it.
That's good. Okay. Well, since that's the case, I would like to extend the offer to you to lead us off with the opening arguments.
Yes, I will. You got 60 seconds on the clock here.
Right. When you are ready. Actually, I'll give you the countdown. Sorry. 3, 2, 1, begin.
The Last Crusade. This is a great, great story. Not only do you get a little bit of a beginning, a little bit of a primer of who Indiana Jones is, played by the young heartthrob River Phoenix, God rest his soul.
Mm.
And then you also get the great father-son relationship there with Sean Connery. So you get a blending of generations all throughout there while still getting your classic Indiana Jones story. You have him as the professor, you have him as the adventurer, you have him as the womanizer. He's punching Nazis. He's robbing graves, or not graves so much, but historical sites, and then putting them in museums where they belong. This
15.
classic Indiana Jones, getting right back on the track. Not to say that Raiders of the Ark isn't. That's a great movie in its own right, but it's doing a little bit more. It's
5.
building upon what Raiders of the Lost
Mm.
Ark already established.
Time. Nice job.
Ooh.
I got to make sure I have the sounder up for this one though, because I forgot that was a thing that we do now here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's see if that it still works on your end. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. That is. Oh, all right, we're good. Okay. So my opening argument.
All right, starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
It all began here. Wes can talk about how you get a little primer to Indiana Jones in his movie, but at the same time, mine is where it all starts. And you want to talk about a primer, you see the first event of Indiana Jones as we know him, where he's hunting down this ancient relic. And from there, nonstop action, distrust, deception, and amazing action throughout. And that's just in the first like 10 minutes of the movie. We get an amazing artifact that we're going after, one that I still don't even think that people touch on a whole heck of a lot, at least in cinema and everything, or in shows, which I found very fascinating upon rewatching this. We get a strong female character opposite of him, despite some of the dodginess that's involved with those two. We get an amazing supporting cast that we'll talk about a little bit later on. And all around, this is what started it all to help set the tone for this amazing franchise. You were on mute, so I didn't hear any of your countdowns.
I'm still, yeah,
There we
sorry. I
go.
was blowing my nose. I'm a little, I'm fighting off the remnants of a cold. I've been sick for the last like week or so.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
from last Tuesday. Yeah,
A
neither
cold
here nor
and
there.
allergies? This
I
one?
know, I think it was coming back from the airport, traveling, and then like I was just kind of on the go the rest of the weekend there. So I think
That'll
burning
do
the
it.
candle at both ends,
That will do it. Yeah. Look at
But you don't get sick days as a parent, so I've just been chomping down Dayquil, and it's all good.
no days off.
Hashtag no days off. Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm. All right. Am I leading off then for the first?
Yes. Yeah, let's do that then. Yeah, so we'll have this makes sense. Which movie has the better MacGuffin, the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail? So let me reset my clock. You get 60 seconds on why the Ark of the Covenant is the better MacGuffin. 3, 2, 1, go.
As I mentioned in my opening argument, this is an artifact that I've heard very little about. And I do find history interesting. I do find religious history interesting. And we learn a little bit about this in the course of it all. And it's a wild artifact. And then to see what it turns out to be in the end is absolutely friggin' mind-blowing, the power that this thing possesses. And what's so cool about it too is where we see some other stuff with Indiana
30
Jones
seconds.
in his career. This helps set, this is the tone setter for him, because he's someone who's like, yeah, I don't believe in all that mumbo jumbo, all that, magic, whatever you want to call it, higher powers. Like he makes a joke about it at the beginning, like his revolver is
15.
like his higher power or whatever it is. And he experiences the arc, and what we get at the end is still like that's still like I vividly remember that moment. I think anybody who's
3,
seen this movie
2,
remembers it to this day.
1. All right.
All right, you have 30 seconds on the clock to rebuttal.
Yeah, hit
sir.
me. Hit,
All right,
hit me with it.
3,
Yep.
2, 1, go.
Yeah, see, I'm with you, Nick. I love history. I love religious history. I love religious lore as well. So things that may be history adjacent or maybe bending of that. So I'm with you on that. But it does seem a little bit weird that essentially a casket could wield so much power and have so much to do, so much supernatural power. It seems big, a little bit clunky. It just doesn't line up fully right for me. I need a little bit of work on the Ark of the Covenant and its powers. Oh,
That's
okay.
all
All
me.
right. All right. You're gonna lose your privileges.
All right. You have- I couldn't help it. You have 60 seconds on the clock, sir, to explain why the Holy Grail in
Hmm.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is the better MacGuffin of the two. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, like I just mentioned in my previous statement, there, I'm a lover of history. I'm a lover of Catholicism, or religious history, and also religious lore. So let's get that out of the way. But what greater search through history has there been by man than the Fountain of Youth in some way, shape, or form? It's the ultimate quest by man. The cup of life used by Jesus at the Last Supper and by Joseph to catch Jesus's blood at the crucifixion, and is now guarded by the Fisher King. How cool is that? We even get to see him
30.
a little bit, in the Last Crusade. While the Ark of the Covenant is really just, the home of the Ten Commandment tablets. You got the rod of Moses's brother. Like, it's all like, yeah, it's cool, and they need a lot of special effects to
15.
kind of church it up, which is what I was alluding to in my previous argument. But the Cup of Life has so much symbolism, and it's portable. One, you can carry it
5.
around with you. You don't need 5 guys to lift it up and raise it. So
Just the one.
the
Sorry.
Holy Grail. That's it.
Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yeah. No, I
Okay.
got you.
Okay, good. All right. Lay it on me.
30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Look, the Holy Grail was a safe move. After Temple of Doom, they needed to play it safe and needed to go with a familiar item. They needed to play it up. Oh, we'll do Fountain of Youth. This is a thing that's been overplayed forever. Of course, it was still interesting. This was a good movie, but at the same time, you go
15.
and use that after Temple of Doom, where you had trouble, and then in the first movie, you had this amazing arc, this whole thing, this like amazing, ridiculous weapon, and now we have to
5.
go and use it that we've never really heard about, and now we have to use the Holy Grail. You
All
had time for
right.
the come on in there. Look at that.
Yeah, you
All
had
right.
a couple seconds. You had a couple seconds in there.
All right. So moving on to number 2.
Yes. So now this is me.
This is
me
you.
here.
So
Which movie? Oh, sorry. No, I don't mean to step on your toes.
No,
You set it
no.
up.
Okay. Which movie boasts the better female lead?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
60 seconds on the clock, Wesley. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, this role, Elsa Schneider, played by Alison Doody. She is an Austrian German Nazi sympathizer, but she's actually an Irish actress in this. So very tall, leggy blonde, with steely looks. She's got a little bit of a danger, fear factor to her, where she's working with the Nazis, which adds a little bit of a sex appeal. She was a Bond girl previously. I think that means
Ooh.
something. She also was Charlie Sheen's girlfriend in Major League
30.
2. I think that also means something.
Hmm.
So she has this longevity. She actually also just appeared in RRR. So the things that I would do, like I feel like Elsa Schneider would get me to do a lot of things.
15.
You know what I mean? And I feel like she's a very adept spy. Now, you can't fall in love with something like that, but you can have a great Indiana Jones one night stand,
3.
James Bond one night stand. And I think that happens.
Look at that. Perfect timing. Okay.
There we go. 30 seconds on your retort. Starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Elsa Schneider is a villain. She is like you said, she's a Nazi sympathizer. She's the worst of them all. Now, in the end, she kind of doesn't care about them and kind of wants her own thing, and that's all she cares about. Wants to run away with Indy. So, like, she's not completely irredeemable, I guess, but at the same
15.
time, she's still like a huge a-hole. I would like to see this actress have played in some other spy roles. I'm curious about, talking about James Bond. I'm curious what that was, but she's a
3.
bad guy. She's not a
Well, it's like in Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they go to the chicken store, or the chicken store opens, the Palestinian chicken store, and it's like right up next to the kosher deli. And Larry falls in love with the Palestinian, or lust after the Palestinian chicken owner, and they have very hot, ruckus, racist sex. And it's like sometimes the heart wants what it hates. There's a thin line between love and hate. Sometimes those lines can be blurred to create beautiful passion.
Okay.
And that's just all I'm willing to explore there.
Okay.
We can all just like succumb to the wants and desires of the flesh.
That is true, and she is obviously a very attractive woman.
She's a tall drink of water, as they might say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so 60 seconds on the clock while your female lead is sexier. And 3, 2, 1, go.
I am taking the route of she's just the better all around lead because obviously there is a whole weird background with Marion and Indiana Jones that I was not aware of until rewatch. I know they were younger when they had their original relationship, but holy shit. But simple reason on this one, they bring her back later. When you go, it's all said and done, you bring Marion back for another story. Obviously, she worked, and where as much as like Elsa Schneider is manipulative and everything like that, and obviously attractive. First of all, Marion obviously is an attractive actress, but at the same time, she's a tough MFer. Like she doesn't take shit from anybody. Now, it doesn't mean she doesn't get captured every once in a while, but she does not put up with Indiana Jones shit. And I really enjoyed how like from start to finish,
15.
she is very unforgiving with him. We do have the softer moments and everything like that, but at the same time, it is not this the standard like male lead female relationship you see on. Oh, I couldn't get that out at the end.
You got there though. You landed it.
Jeez, yes. Okay. Anyways, you have 30 seconds on the clock, sir, to go against Maid Marian. 3, 2, 1.
No question, very attractive young lady that's in Raiders of the Lost Ark there. She was also the female Nick and I were discussing. Was one of the female leads in Animal House too. So she has this kind of like college girl next door type of look, which works out very well, especially coupled with the kind of like rough around the edges that she can do there as well. But in comparison, it's not. You got a supermodel or the girl next door. Who are you choosing? Live life on the wild side. Live dangerously.
Sorry, that second was unintentional. That was unintentional.
You're skating on thin ice. You're living dangerously.
This is how fights start. Shit. You dick around for 1 second and then you
keep both hands. That's what my dad used to say when we used to like mess with him and try to pull the door open while he's unlocking it, in the car door. He's like, put both hands where I could see them.
I was really curious where you were going with that one to the end because you waited for the last 5 seconds to like make your point. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, where? I'm just giving too many compliments here.
Exactly.
Forgetting the argument.
Okay. What do we have next, Wes?
Which movie features the best action sequence here? So, a bunch of different options you can choose from, I'm sure. Nick, you're going first with Raiders of the Lost Ark. 60 seconds on the clock starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
This was a tough one for me at first because you have the whole like marketplace scene. That's a lot of fun. You have the iconic moment where Indy is going against that dude with the sword. He does the little thing and then he just pulls his gun out and like, what do I waste my time for?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the best scene has to go to in Raiders of the Lost Ark has to go to when Indy's fighting the shirtless Nazi, the moose of a man. And this whole time, Marion's like shooting down people with the machine gun from the plane after she knocked out the pilot. And then Indy is like trying to fight this guy and he gets some good licks in for sure. He gets a nosebleed out of the guy, but he never really wobbles. But then by the end of it all, and the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, I can't believe Harrison Ford recorded something of this. Did he? Like, is this an actual plane? I had like serious anxiety watching it. And then because I know we all know what happens at the end where Indy only wins the fight by using his brains. And then in the end, that guy, the big Nazi, bites the dust. That's
a good place to stop right there.
I lucked out.
That was good. That was good.
All right. Do you want to do 30 seconds against this or
no? I think we can just do a minute right into it here. I think that's a good call. Just kind of present our own positions here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, perfect. I don't think I have a debate on yours. All right, I'm curious where you end up going with yours. But without further ado, 60 seconds on the clock. Wes, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, like Nick mentioned, there's a couple of different places I could have gone here, just like you could have in Raiders of the Lost Ark. But the one that jumps out to me the most is escaping the church library that leads into a boat chase in Venice by the order of the cruciform sword. So that's when he's with Elsa for the first time, and they're going down. They discover X marks the spot. They find the original grave of King Richard. And then the Order lights this cave on fire, and all these rats come up, and that'll come up a little bit later. But then they get out. Then they're chased along the Venice canals there by, again, this same Order, and you get this great boat chase. So you're getting on land and in sea, both there doing great stuff. You got the Order of the Cruciform Sword, which is there to protect the Holy Grail. So a nice little secret agency there. And then just a little bit of a hat tip, an homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark. They get rid of the bad guys by using one of the propellers of a big oil tanker, a la Raiders of the Lost Ark, which Nick just mentioned. But they do it better because it's in water.
Okay, look at that.
It's water, yeah. Very cool stuff, actually. So that was a nice little callback.
Yeah, look at that. Look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought? Which movie features the sequence that best represents Indiana Jones?
Okay, yep. I was looking at the wrong one there. Okay, yep. You're first on this one.
Yes, I am.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock, sir. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so this scene could have also been with the best action sequence, in my opinion. It's the opening sequence from The Last Crusade. You get a young Indiana Jones, played by River Phoenix, rest in peace, stealing the Coronado crucifix from the robbers while on a Boy Scout trip in Utah. So this is like early 1900s, like 1918, like when the Red Sox won the World Series type of stuff. He's running on trains. He's riding horses. He's taming lions, learning how to use a whip for the first time. He's falling into a bed of snakes, which is the reason why he hates snakes. You find out that he gets the hat and he actually models a lot of his fashion game after the robber who he tried to steal it from. So there's a lot of, you find a lot of the impetus of Indiana Jones as birth right in that moment right there. And I think that encapsulates everything that happens from that there forward, going from Raiders of the Lost Ark all the way up to Dials of the Destiny.
Well done, sir. You actually had a second to spare before I pressed that button, but
felt pretty good about that. Yeah, nice and succinct.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know if I want to do. I don't want to like continue to forego my counter arguments here, but I don't feel like
I think it's fair. We'll do 60 seconds. Yeah. This is a holiday episode anyway. We're just having some fun here today.
This is true. But I mean, this is also there's something on the line here. I don't want to have to read.
Potentially, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows?
This is true. All right, I'll take my 60 seconds alone then.
Okay, 60 seconds on the clock starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
It's funny because just like Wes cites the opening sequence of Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, I also feel like the first sequence that we get of Indiana Jones in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, it very much represents like all of India. You see his smarts, you see him trust people that maybe shouldn't be trusted, and you see what happens to those people when they try and screw him over. And it's great foreshadowing for what's going to happen later. Obviously, we meet Belloc in the beginning, but that first scene of Indiana Jones, or the first sequence where he's in that tomb,
25 seconds,
and especially when you see him running from the rock, but running from the rock is like, that's Indiana Jones to a T. When you think of Indiana Jones, that's one of the 5 things you probably think of. That and him making the switch with the golden idol too. I mean, I think even when we talk about like Guardians of the Galaxy, where Chris Pratt's picking the orb up, like it's similar kind of thing. So to me, that's peak Indiana Jones right there.
Ooh, marks that one right there with a burp.
Wow, that was not a. That's right. We only have fart noises for our.
That's true. This was a practical effect.
Yes, look at that! Wow, where they
in honor of Spielberg and George Lucas. Yeah,
there you go.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Which movie? Okay, so this goes to you here. 60 seconds. And we'll just do the 1 minute thing. We don't have to go back and forth on this. Or do you want to? You got? Yeah.
I feel like with yours, I may want to debate it. Yeah, going into it.
Okay. All right here. Okay. So let's, 60 seconds on the clock on who has the scariest scenario for India to get out. I believe that's you, Nick, right?
Yes, it's my turn. Yep.
All right. It starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
So You basically what you're telling me is that you have this thing like Wes talked about before, right? With his MacGuffin, with the cup and everything, and he'll get to his whole point. But this is a known thing. Everybody kind of knows what you're getting into with this. The Ark of the Covenant, no clue what the hell's going to happen with this thing. You know, it's supposed to provide immeasurable power and everything like that. But what we end up seeing is, I mean, not meant for mortal eyes. It's very clear. And
It's true. 30
how that,
seconds.
as I'm watching this, it's like, well, how the hell did Indy figure that out? Like, is it just intuition that maybe, hey, this isn't the best move? I don't know. And some could argue, like, okay, that's like he kind of just guessed his way out of it. But that makes it all the more scary because you have no friggin' clue. And I'll get to my counterpoints and why I want to debate Wes's, but
10.
this is just like gut instinct. And sometimes you do well and sometimes you bite the dust. And holy shit, Indy got lucky.
Well, that was a little early there. I didn't mean to. I was quick on the draw, but
It was perfect.
You're all set? Okay.
Yes. Thank you, though. All right. Do you want your 30 seconds?
Yeah, I'll take the 30 seconds.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
So that's certainly a scary moment there, right? You're seeing like the whole face kind of like age and everything like that. Very, very scary stuff. And like throughout the light and the flames, like you don't really know what's going on. But I would have thought like maybe one of Indiana's sidekick has tarantulas going all up and down his back. Like I would have thought like that would be a moment. We maybe interpreted this question a little differently because I was thinking like something that I would be in that I would not want to have to do here. So that kind of leads into my 60 seconds.
Okay. All right.
Which we can just get right into. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, I thought it was 3, 2, 1, go. Oh,
no,
no.
No. I haven't started yet. I don't always say go. Sorry. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, thank you. I need to go. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm just waiting in the
Wasting more time.
Still wasting time. But nevertheless, the situation that I wouldn't want to be in is what I was alluding to in the movie that features the best action sequence question. So when they're going through the church and the library and the underground caves there, the order guys light the cave on fire, and Indiana Jones with Elsa have to spill over atop of a boat to create an air bubble where they can breathe and kind of buy themselves some more time. But while that is happening, all the rats, which are like any place that's not covered with water or wet, come rushing into this boat capsule, that's a capsized boat. And I would not be able to do that. I would not be able to walk on the walls there, would have them crawling all over me. And then again, in a mad dash to try to save their life, they are just crawling into you. That would freak me out. I wouldn't be able to think or come up with a plan or comprehend anything.
Look at that. Show
Wow.
off. Wasted 5 seconds off the top and still got it in.
Still got it in. Okay. 30 seconds to retort starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so we clearly took different routes here. Just as comparison, the thing that in my movie that's kind of on the same level as Wes's whole rat situation. Yes, the boat's scary, but at the same time, Indy gets lowered into a tomb filled with snakes. Like, and it's just as much as he deals with something like that when he was a kid, and that's what scarred him for life. This is like you're in a foreign country, you have no idea what the hell's going on. You're just trusting a couple of torches, and also you got to get in and out of there as fast as possible. And then what happens? He doesn't get in and out of there as fast as possible. Yeah. He almost bites the dust. Brutal.
What is crazy about that scene in Raiders is they Spielberg demanded like 8,000 to 10,000 live snakes on set because the fake ones didn't look enough, and then they couldn't keep enough anti-venom on set for everyone involved to keep everyone safe. So there was like a huge like human animal rights issue that was going on there for a little bit too. So very interesting stuff. Yeah,
that's insane.
And I would be very pissed if I was an actor and they're like, no, like you sign on thinking it's going to be fake snakes that you're dealing with, and it's like, no, actually we don't like the look of them. We're going to get real snakes, real cobras.
I'm going to pass on that. Thanks all the same. No way. That's wild. No way. Asps and cobras.
Yeah, no, thank you. So yeah, I agree. That's a scary scene.
All right, that brings us to our final point.
Which movie has the better performance from a supporting cast? I believe I'm the first in line here. Am I?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
got
Am I?
confused
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, which movie had a better performance from the supporting cast? West begins with The Last Crusade. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, we've already talked about the beautiful Alison Doody, who is a tall drink of water with no need to talk about her anymore. She's a Nazi sympathizer, but she's really just looking out for herself here. So that's important to know. She's just trying to survive in enemy territory. So I want that to be said. But we also get River Phoenix playing as a young indie who looked very charismatic. In fact, I thought he was like Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, like you always hear that he had a high upward trajectory, but seeing him be young Indiana Jones,
30.
and this does an amazing job of it, actually completely conveys all the best qualities of Indiana Jones that we come to know and love. And last but certainly not least, we have Sean Connery, who again brings his like typical Coxman style. He has a British accent for some reason, Scottish accent for some reason, but he's just doing it anyway. But he's blubbering, but he's helpful. There's the father-son dynamic works out great. They kind of get to hash out some shit, but still have some great memories and some stuff too. But yeah, it's good. Shit.
I'm just gonna do my own.
Yes.
You can still keep your 30 if you want.
No. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't get a leg up on you like that.
Hell, okay. All right. 60 seconds, please, sir.
I do declare 60 seconds on the clock in 3, 2, 1, go.
So we already talked about Marion and what she provides on screen. Obviously, in her whole intro too, I didn't talk about that before, but that dive bar in Nepal where she's having that drinking contest, like it's basically like Gimli and Legolas, and you know she goes and ends up beating the heavy favorite in it, which was great. But then we have Belloc, who is the opposite of Indiana Jones here. And it's like everything you can have, I can take away from you. We once again prove it over and over again. He is a real friggin' bastard. Paul Freeman did a great job there. A guy who's quickly in this movie but hops out fast is Alfred Molina's Satipo, who was a real bastard too. Again, someone who's gone pretty quickly because he didn't do it right by Indy. We have John Rhys Davies playing Sala, which I'm sure that casting would be a little bit problematic in these days, but still he was interesting. He was a good buddy to Indy throughout all of it too. And then also Major Arnold Taut, played by Ronald Lacey. That's the Nazi who originally visited Marion. He's a real friggin' weirdo.
Okay. All right. We'll get there. We got there. So that's the argument. That's what lays out. We still got 60 seconds on the clock for our closing arguments here. Nick, you want to set me up with that, and I'll close things out for us.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock, sir. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Listen, I'm not here to besmirch the name of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a fine movie. I think everybody should go rent it and go watch it, and then immediately go watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, because it is such a good movie. It carries on. Not only does it carry on what a great story that's told in Raiders, but it builds it. It builds the lore into a greater stratosphere that we didn't think was possible. He's killing Nazis once again. He's making love with Nazis once again. You know, he's doing all this stuff. And you get the father-son element. You get the little beginning there that tells his backstory, his origin story. And it's a little bit older. So if you're one of those people who aren't a big fan of poor or older CGI special effects, this newer movie might be more up your alley than the older version of Raiders. And that's it. I see my time.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I'm feel good. I'm confident.
Stinky. Oh, wait. Who did that? Oh, so sorry.
Okay. All right. Damn it, Nick. This is the last time. Don't make me come back then.
All right.
60 seconds on the clock. Closing arguments. Raiders. 3, 2, 1, go.
The argument that they did it first, so it's always the best, is not fair. And I feel like I just made up that point and maybe butchered the saying. But either way, we get a pairing in Marion and Indiana Jones that we end up seeing returning when this franchise comes back years later. So obviously they did something right there. When you look at what happened in the second Indiana Jones movie, why they had to come back and do Wes's movie, because they needed to recapture what they did in the first movie, because that had the recipe for success. You have a superior villain in Belloc, probably the best villain in all of the Indiana Jones movies. And then you get the introduction of Indiana
20
where
seconds
we
left.
learn. I'm sorry, where we learn about Indiana and his whole. I believe in these historical facts, but I don't believe in the magic surrounding them. The experience there, it sets an
10.
amazing tone for this character over the course of 5 movies now. Done.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. So that there you have it, people. We're gonna let the people decide. The court has rested their arguments. The defense and the prosecution both rest. Now we're asking you, the jury, to go deliberate for a little bit of time. Maybe we put a poll out. Maybe we won't. That's a secret that we won't be sharing until you know it. So
Mhm.
let's go follow our Twitter at what is it, at CMM podcast? What's our Twitter handle these days? CMM_podcast.
CMM_podcast is
Yeah, we got it. Yeah,
yes.
that's what it is. To go cast your vote and get your voice heard on who won the debate, Raiders of the Lost Ark with Nick or myself with The Last Crusade. Whoa,
It's
no.
morphin' time.